Welcome to a summary of King Lear. Here today we'll be talking about acts number 3 all the way to acts number 5, and let us get this started with right now. And now you can see all the books in my library, and this is just a part of it. Do not think that is all of it. Let's get to start with. First off, last time we left off, we had Goneril and Regan both banishing, actually not banishing, just kicking King Lear out of their castles and out of their respective territories. And as a result, he has literally nowhere left to go. He and his faithful servant and this homeless guy who seems to be going ahead and being faithful to him, who is in fact the Earl of Kent, his actual faithful person, he goes ahead and finds out that maybe this was pretty much a stupid idea. And then Cordelia just has to go ahead and return. There are rumors of her returning to Britain, and then when she really does return to Britain, lots of battles happen, but before we can even talk about that, we have to talk about the storm. Kent goes ahead and leads Lear throughout the storm, and he tries to get him, to go inside this hovel, but Lear refuses, saying that his own mental anguish makes him hardly actually feel the storm, which is pretty much a stupid thing. And then he sends the fool inside to take shelter, and then kneels and prays, and then he reflects, as a king, at least a king in title, he took little to care about his wretchedness and homelessness, care of the wretchedness and homelessness, and he has scant protection from all these storms, such as the one that he is literally in right now. And then the fool runs out of the hovel, and then claiming that there is literally a spirit inside, and then the spirit turns out just to be Edgar disguised as this some guy named Tamil Belden. And Edgar plays the part of a madman by complaining that he is literally being chased by a devil, and that he adds to the fiends. He adds that the fiend has went ahead possessed and inhabits his body. And Lear, who is literally losing his grip of reality, starts to actually believe this thing and sees nothing strange about these statements. And we can, at this point, I've just given up on this man. And then he sympathizes with Edgar and asking him whether bad daughters have been the ruin of him as well. Bad daughters? You literally have one good daughter. I accidentally reveal a lot about my own personal life, do I? And after Lear asking Edgar what he was before he became this kind of madman, he was like, I'm a rich man, part of the courtier of the king's court, and I had lots and lots of with women. And then, as a result of finding Edgar naked, he decides to go and strip himself off too, just to be able to sympathize with him. And then, you can see how well that goes. Other scenes that I can pretty much mention is back at Gloucester's castle. We have Edmund and Edgar going ahead and competing with each other, and Edgar kills Edmund, or it's probably the other way around. Either way, the legitimate son of Gloucester literally wins this battle. Gloucester himself is executed because he helped Lear escape to Dover, and Gloucester is found and brought before Regan and Cornwall. They treat him cruelly, tying him like a thief, and then insulting him, pulling his white beard, and then finally they blind him. And then, Edmund goes ahead and leads him towards his death. Off a cliff. How much more can you go? And by the way, back at Dover, we finally have Cordelia arriving as the Queen of France, and she's all like, military strategy, military strategy, military strategy. Oh, Zati! Tata! They have a great reunion, but then the French are defeated by the English, and then they're all like, okay, so that's how it goes, eh? And then Edmund decides to go ahead and capture our old King Lear and his daughter Cordelia. He doesn't have a crown anymore either way. Cordelia is sent to execution, but Lear does not know that when he finally finds out about it, and then there's this, epic battle. That ends up with Edmund dying. He's all like, Dada, you really did love me. I forgive you that. And then she promptly dies. And later he goes ahead and weeps and weeps. And he's like, my horse for my king. A horse for my kingdom for my horse. That kind of thing. And then after grieving for Cordelia's death, he also dies. Oh, and Regan and... What happened to Regan and Goneril? Well, they both were competing for Edmund, and the Edmunds are like, yeah, this is gonna be fine. Before he died, of course. But Goneril and Regan both wanted Edmund after they found out that he's like, I love you, and then he said, no, he said he loves me. No, he said he loves me. That kind of stuff. They plot to kill each other, and then they both end up killing each other. Like this. Critical hit. Both end up dying. No one wins. So, pretty much everyone's dead. Edgar's the only one who's pretty much alive. He refuses to go ahead and rule so, and Gloucester, he refuses to rule so, and the rest of the people decide to just go ahead and rule Britain themselves, because, well, they're the only ones with any position of power left. And as a result, that's it. That's how this ends. That's how King Lear ends. Next time, we'll be talking about the full book summary, and until then, Shihana, peace, bye-bye.